Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something important for you to think about and ponder regarding this world. And what is going on in it. As you can see in the title of this video. That the current world we live in is indeed a heaven for the narcissist men and for the simps out there in the world. Now before I continue on. This is also a big time heaven for the narcissist woman. Because as mentioned before, we sadly live in a time where many times the lies of a narcissist woman goes unchecked and challenged and not considered at all as being toxic and or dangerous. And as much as many of you don't want to admit this, if you have sons and you don't stand up and do something quick, your sons will grow up constantly in danger, which is another topic for another video. But with that being said, this world we live in is also a heaven for the narcissist male and the simp. And why is this, you might ask? Well, for starters, the narcissist male understands because good men are under attack. There is a big gap to be filled. There's a lot of men walking away and a lot more cautious than ever before when in regards to having relationships with women. And because of many of these men walking away and or being more cautious, this leaves the perfect space for the narcissist male to step in, fill the shoes of the good man. You see, as long as the good men are under attack, the narcissist male knows their chances of snagging new prey goes up. Thus they don't want anything to change. You see, when men talk about fixing things, making things fair, and working on the marriage laws, they know this will make for a world where the good man will shine and do well. But as of right now they are being destroyed or simply walking away. Which leaves more access to women for the narcissist male. Also, though we are in the Me Too era, oddly enough we are still kinda sorta in the hookup era. No more are relationships for the most part meaningful. It's all down to swiping right or left and hooking up. Or going to festivals or party events where they can more than likely find another man's wife or girlfriend he can hook up with. And if along the way, he can turn on the charm and find a woman that is decent and overly trusting so he can take her for a long horrible ride of narcissistic abuse, he will do so. You see, though there are just as many narcissist men as there are women in my opinion, we do live in a world where most, not all, but most women won't date, let alone look at a man making less than her. So this narcissist male finding what the Bible calls a rare woman will take a lot of time. And because of this time it will take, he still needs narcissistic supply. Which usually means the so-called man spending time with other men's wives or girlfriends. And being a part of the hookup culture. All the while playing the numbers game, hoping that he will run into the rare woman the Bible speaks of, so he can trauma bond her and suck her into his toxic life of narcissistic abuse. You see, when I talk about changing the laws and how we live in a world where we rarely question the narcissist woman, I'm saying this not to just free good men from such women, but to give more of a chance for the good women to meet a good man. Because right now, the way this is going, it not only allows the narcissist woman to thrive, but the narcissist man as well. And trust me, both don't want anything to change. Because change means less narcissistic supply. And we all know the narcissist doesn't want that to happen. Which brings me to the simp. And so you are aware there are different types of simps, which I will address maybe in another video. But in short, a simp is a man that throws away his own manhood, just so he can enjoy the company of a woman. He might say things he clearly knows is false and wrong. He will attack other men. He will go against everything he knows is right, just so he can enjoy the company of a woman. And for the record, some simps don't know they are simps, even though they get a feeling they know something is wrong but do it anyway. I will explain this more later in another video. But with that said, there are simps that are straight out narcissists that don't cringe when they do wrong just for enjoying the company of a woman. You see, if you want to be real here for a moment, When women talk about women having a biological clock and men can't understand, I'm here to tell you something. Though men might not have an expiration date on having children, they know that if they have children too late, they might not be in the best of shape to enjoy being a father. And when they see the world in the mess it's in, some men panic and allow themselves to be put in the worst situations possible just so they can have a child, because the drive to have a family is that strong. And before you know it, they are saying things like, "I don't mind if my wife goes off to this party destination for the weekend with her girlfriends, because we have trust." When in reality we know what more than likely is happening when she does go off to such a place. Or, "I don't mind that my wife is still friends with her ex-boyfriends, or has male friends from work she hangs out with." You see, these are things years back would have been a big time no-no. And for good reason. You see, even the best of people, I mean the best of people, can fall to temptation and do some real stupid things. So as a check and balance, a true and good woman would never allow even the repair man in the house unless another man was there, like her father, husband, son, etc. Now yes, even then cheating took place. But the set-apart women really took this serious and wanted to show their husbands, "You can trust me," by making sure she wasn't in situations where it could be said she did something wrong. And this was considered a good thing. It was considered what decent people did in the hopes of keeping bad elements out of their relationships. Because good people, once you get your hormones ramped up, can and do end up doing bad things. And because the simp knows that if he says no to this or that, and stands firm on what he knows to be right, that his chances of having access to a woman and having children drops dramatically. So he gives in. Happy wife, happy life. Giving her a kiss goodnight as she leaves to go to the bar or nightclub. It's just insane. But this is their heaven, because they know that if things were done on the up and up, and they weren't chosen because he was willing to comply with ridiculous rules of a narcissist woman, that he might not fare so well with finding a woman based on his character and personality. And though there are a variety of simps, just like the narcissist, the simp always has an angle, and they don't know how to make it on who they are. So when people want to change the laws and fix things to be fair, it's almost like you are saying to the simp, "You won't have access to women anymore." Because the only thing they have going for themselves in many cases is their compliance to evil women. It's that simple. And fixing things to being fair takes them out of the picture and limits their access. You see, though there are many layers to this issue and it is very complex, it's also really simple. It's about access. And when we talk about changing things, the narcissist, both male and female, would be limited in the regards to gaining narcissistic supply. And the simp male would be limited in his access to women. And they don't want that dynamic to change. Sadly, the simp male is the reason why a lot of this stuff has been normalized. Because if they just resisted this stuff for a few years, eventually things would go back to being normal. But the simp male just thinks about access. I need access. So they are willing to throw away their manhood for that access. They will stand up for things that are completely wrong, just for access. And when someone comes along and says, "Hey, we need to change the laws," the simp only hears that someone is trying to take away their access. So what do? Well, we realize this is the case. And this is something that should have never been allowed to get out of control. However, here we are. We truly are living in the part of the Bible where good is seen as bad and bad is seen as good. I want you to understand something. These laws regarding family court and divorce court, they are crooked for a reason. It is meant to destroy the family unit, and make it so men are terrified. Good men are terrified to have children or have a wife. And they have succeeded. But they also know that of the men, there will be simps that will rise up and mate with evil women. thus increasing the chances of more narcissists and other dysfunctional people are created. It's a plan, people. It's a plan. That's why you need to rise up. Rise up. Rise up and fight for these laws to change. You see, those that put us in this mess did so little by little. Like the frog boiling in a pot of water. They would gain little victories here and there against us. And now we need to do the same to them. Little victories. First, let's look at paternity fraud. And yes, this is an issue that affects good men. But what do you think will happen if good men aren't afraid paternity fraud will happen to them? That's right. They will start making themselves more available to the good woman. And the narcissists and simp will now have the good man to compete with. And I believe that if these paternity fraud cases were brought to the Supreme Court, and found to be abuse and a violation of these men's constitutional and civil rights as a human being, and the narcissist women were held responsible for such fraud, it would open the door to go after alimony, child support, and the marriage license itself. And with each step, you are not only taking away the narcissist woman's heaven, but you are taking away the heaven of the narcissist man. Right along with the dreaded simp. This is why I do what I do. Just as Aaron Pizzi could see the big picture on how this all is destroying men and women alike, I too see this same big picture. So start talking about this stuff. Because with each person that stands up, their heaven goes away. With that said, I hope everyone had a blessed day. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, as we are working hard to get a starting goal of 200,000 subscribers. Now, if you have already subscribed, I want to say thank you. Also, please click the little bell to be notified each and every time I make a new video. And click the like button to push this content to the front of YouTube. If you want to support even further, you can do so by the way of Patreon. And for those of you that have already done so, I humbly say, thank you from the bottom of my cartoon heart. With that said, let's continue to pray for wisdom. Let's continue to pray for strength. And let's continue to pray for courage. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.